It's Tiana Adeje. You already know. So I got some great and wonderful people here with me. I actually want them to introduce themselves, and then we're just gonna get right into what we're gonna be talking about tonight. So if I could start to my top left, or however you guys see it, whoever want to go first, basically.
All right. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm Bryson West.
Okay. Cool. Got Bryson West. Who's next?
I'm Frank.
Oh,
You got to call them out because we're gonna run into each other.
yeah, we're gonna run into each other.
All right.
Just go in line.
All right. So I don't know if y'all see it the way I see it, but okay, let's go. We got Bryson. He already introduced Bryson West. Let's go, Frank.
Yeah, I'm Frank Badou, aka Midnyte Sun.
Yeah. That's what it is.
That's what it
Business
is.
owner. Yes, sir. Freeman's, I got you next.
Hey, I'm Titan. I'm a gospel hip hop artist. Real name Latrell Freeman. This is my beautiful wife, Lindsay Freeman.
Hello,
That's
hello.
what's up. That's what's up.
And Jessica.
I'm Jessica Currie, aka J Poetry. I'm a writer, spoken word artist.
Yeah. Yes. Next, Quan.
Music artist and business owner of Beats Hip Hop Juice Bar.
Bet. We already did Bryson West, but welcome. Next is Kevon Fly.
I'm Kevon Fly, aka Dr. Fly, graduate of the Tennessee State University. From the Tennessee State University, North Memphis to be exact. On the other end, I'm a college football coach at Johnson C. Smith University, HBCU in Charlotte, North Carolina. I also do a lot of things in the community, as far as going to speak to young people and hosting camps and things like that, and helping them get off the street and go to college as well. So glad to be here.
Yes, you already know it's not the least, but it is my girl Gigi.
Yes, I'm Gigi Mendez. Some of you guys know me. My rap name is Gigi Mendez. I'm Christina Mendez, rapper, something like that. Business owner.
That's it. I was waiting on that. Yes. So I do want to welcome you all once again to tonight's podcast. And I just want to continue on because I had one the other day, just talking about the culture and what it has to offer and how we can make an impact, especially with our generation, because I'm assuming that a lot of us are around the same age, if not a little bit older. But I wanted to kick it off with this first question, which is actually going to be the icebreaker because it's not on the questions that I asked you guys, but it was one of the last ones that I asked another set of people. But what generation seems to be more motivated about things? Is it the younger, the middle age, or the older? And why do you think that is? So what generation do you think seems to be the most more motivated right now? Anybody can answer, or you could just raise your hand or whatever. Just let me know.
I answer that because I work with a lot of young people, coaching in college. I'm also the head strength and conditioning coach, so I work with the young ladies and the men as well. And just being in the place that I've been, Atlanta, University of Miami, I think the young people are motivated, but I think they don't know how to actually get there though. They suffer from a lot of mental health things and things like that, and not knowing exactly which direction to go, but they're motivated to do something, they just don't know how to get there. And I think it's our responsibility to help them and try to guide them as much as possible. I know a lot of times we always look at them and say, oh, they different than us, and they don't listen and things like that, but we haven't took the time to actually get to know them. We haven't took the time to get to know their interests. We haven't took the time to actually steer them in the right place. We just always, put them to the side, just like our, older people in our family when we were growing up. They just be like, they don't know nothing. We not listening to you, but we got to take that time. We can be different in that aspect and actually listen to them and listen to the things that they want.
True. Anybody else?
I'll step in and say, I think the middle. I honestly think a lot, and when I say the middle, I think a lot of us fall under that. All of us fall under the middle category, right? I can look over here, I can see Frank. That man's a business owner. Gigi, she says she's a business owner. Dr. Fly, Ayo, that resume, amazing, right? Bryson, he's a go. Everybody in some shape, form, or fashion has this thing that they're motivated to go do. Hey, we're here right now with you, right? So, our generation is very motivated. I just hope it's a generation that's willing to like reach back and pull that younger generation, like Fly was saying. But I mean, I could speak for myself. Like my mother was just a regular working woman at a nursing home, right? So getting to the like even getting to some of the places in life that I've gotten to, like it wasn't shown to me. I had to go get it. I had it was motivation and drive behind that. I can't speak for everybody here, but I don't know if y'all parents came from owning businesses or a hedge fund on. I don't know that, but it's very
Yeah.
between in our community. So, and I'm saying that just for this room, but it's a lot of other people like today. Like I'm barely home, but my wife's telling me all these different places that's black owned in Nashville now. And when I'm looking and going to see these business owners, they're close to my age, right? And that was something that was very foreign to me growing up in Jackson, Tennessee. So I definitely can say like the middle age for sure is very motivated.
Yeah. I agree. I think the concept of motivated is everyone is motivated, but what is the motive, right? What is their motive? So the young generation, they have their own motives. We have our own motives, the things that makes us move and get going. What I'm realizing though is for us, for our generation, like generational wealth is the new thing. Like leaving behind something for our children's, not just like, I want my kids to be, wear the nicest Jordans or whatever. Like we actually now as I guess I hate the word woke, but uh we're looking at things from a different perspective. That when we are not here, we don't want our kids to start from, ground zero, just like we did. We want to be able to leave them something. And so that's I think that's mostly our motivation for our generation.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. Most of my motivation comes for what I can do for my family or what I can do for my community. But I do agree that when it comes to the young people and the way they have their motivation, it's easy for them to get more energy from it because it's situational. You know what I'm saying? They can use their energy and be motivated by it and turn something from that. Whether for me, sometime I find myself having to find motivation myself. But yeah, I agree.
I like what Frank said. Like all of us are motivated. Each generation is motivated. It's what's behind it that's driving you towards something. Like going back to just the middle generation, being motivated by leaving something behind or having generational wealth, or and then the younger generation also looking at what we have and how hard we work, and them being motivated to work even harder at their young age because they don't want to work as hard as they see us working, So I think that has a role in it too. But then I also feel like the pandemic recently has kind of changed the mindset of a lot of us in the middle here too, knowing that there may be an opportunity, or there again may be an opportunity or a time for us to be sitting down and can't leave the house and not doing nothing. I still want to do this is what I like to call wake up money, where I don't have to leave my house and I still got something being added to the bank account. So I feel like that pandemic time has also motivated us in this middle area to have all these businesses and create all of these different streams of income. And it's like, oh, okay, yeah, I can do that. But then now I know that I can leave something behind for my children too. So it's they kind of like folding into each other. And even that again, the younger generation is looking at us and saying like, golly, y'all got to work 5, 6, 7 jobs. You got to, whoo, I want to just get mine now. So by the time I'm your age, I can just, kick my feet up when I want to, you know what I'm saying? So I think all of our motives are kind of playing into each generation. So.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Anybody else?
I absolutely agree with it. We're all motivated. Somebody's motivated to do something. Most people don't wake up in the morning and say, hey, I don't feel motivated to do anything. Just this month, we're 5 days into the month, we've had several young people at our church, and if you can elaborate on what you mean by motivated, but we've had several people at our church, young people to be specific, that have received the Holy Ghost with evidence of speaking in tongues. These young people, I think, are extremely motivated, but I think it's our job to grab them and to bring them in and kind of give them that direction to kind of figure out, okay, this is good. Your motivation is great, but let's kind of prune this. Let's groom it. Let's get you where you need to be. And I think that's where we fall. Sometimes we get caught up in being the cool uncle or big sis, and we just want to do our thing. Okay, I just realized recently, okay, let's dial it back a little bit. Let's play a role. I know I want to still be cool. I'm a rapper. I do this, I do that. But at the end of the day, we grown. We've been there. We've done that. Let's take these young people. Let's grab their motivation and let's kind of guide them the way they need to go. And I think that's kind of where I've been. Both my parents were self-employed. I saw it my whole life. They went, they hustled, they grabbed their own check, and they always made more than most. So thank God I saw it, and I can experience it today. I've not had to go and pick up a check for a while. Thank God, but it's, what are we doing? I'm looking for young, motivated young men, young women that I can employ, that I can put on. And I think some of us are all in the same situation or whatever.
Yeah.
I'll say that we all, I know that we all have a dream, we all have a vision, and we all want stability, and we all have a goal that we're trying to meet. And like she was talking about the youth, we have to leave a mark on the younger generation's heart, leave a mark. We got to reach out. Like I remember growing up, my god sister was empowering me and inspiring me and teaching me some things. And now, I have a passion for the youth, and I work with the youth. So I'm giving back to the youth because we all need somebody to help us and to instill some positive things in us. So I believe we all are motivated. We just need to be led in the right direction.
Right. Anybody else?
Man, y'all done hit it. All I'm gonna do is come behind y'all and say the exact same thing y'all just said, and I think what stood out was just, the reason behind the motivation. I think for our young people, a lot of times that's what, like you said, there's no lack of motivation for them because, you can look at the crime rate and see that there's no lack of motivation. Get out here and get it. But I think, it's just a matter of, giving them different avenues and ways that they can begin to channel their energy, and even the rage, you know what I mean? All of that, being able to channel all of that into a specific desired result for them, other than, the pipeline, you know what I'm saying? And I think, but yeah, I think we all, kind of are steering this thing in the same direction. So.
Yeah, my bad on the picture thing. I just hate that. Okay, so I'm experiencing technical difficulties on my end, so I've been trying to flip in and out, so hopefully you guys can still hear me, but I'm gonna go ahead and jump into this next question, which is, in what ways have you seen people degrading or supporting each other in the culture or within our generation? Whichever one you feel the need to answer with. but in what ways have you seen people degrading or supporting each other?
I could tap in on that support part. I think for the last 2 to 5 years, I'm hearing a lot of Black love, a lot of Black owned, a lot of I hope it's not a trend, and it's a movement that is going to take its own shape, but just Black people intentionally doing business with Black people. You say that, and I had an issue with that in the beginning. I was like, yeah, I don't want you to come to me because I'm Black. I want you to come to me because I'm good, right? But then I started realizing, like, for the Black culture, we have to start somewhere, right? On loving on each other, because other cultures do it so easy. I mean, and we haven't been taught how to do that. So, it's kind of like people who say different people have different opinions about Black Lives Matter. It's like all lives matter. We know what it is when we say it, but at the same time, the one thing that I realized that we are doing better at is loving on each other intentionally. Meaning, like, if I'm picking a Black contractor, like we getting a realtor right now, and my wife, I don't care. I want the best person to do the job. But she like, no, we gotta get a Black woman, a Black person, because, and I'm like, yeah, but sometimes we don't do the best business. Let's keep it 100. So I tell her, I say, you good with that. But she is so adamant about picking someone just to keep the Black dollar circulating a little bit within our own communities. And I just love to see that we are intentional about that. So that's one of the things that I see that we're doing better, and we're loving on each other on that spectrum.
Yeah. Yeah. What's good? Oh, Quan, you got that smile. What's good?
Because I would have rather picked something positive to say. But Frank took that. But I definitely say here lately, it's just been a lot of crazy things that I've seen, and I'm having to like detox myself from social media, because I'm like, it's skewing my mind on how I'm viewing when I view my own people that I don't know, right? When I say that. The love that Black men and Black women does exist. Let me say that first. But the way that it is right now is getting real out of hand. Real out of hand. Seeing a young man get smacked upside the head with a bowling ball, the lady turn around and roll a strike, and people laugh at that. While this dude bleeding out, seeing stuff like that affects you. You said something about Black business, right? There's some Black businesses where it's just like, I rather, instead of putting a Black business on blast, if they're not doing good, I'd rather come to, hey, let me talk to the business owner real quick. I just want to give them some feedback. I'm not finna go put that on your Google review, because I understand what that does to you, but that's not always the case for a lot of people. We're blasting these people, and they got families to feed too. But yeah, they do need to get some things right. But I feel like us as a culture, knowing how hard it is for us, like, give them that feedback first. But then, you see what I'm saying? And then if they choose to ignore it, then it's a different situation, right?
Right.
But it's so many times where I see people get to a certain level and we're all cheering, and then they get there and they stay there for so long, people wait for them to fail. And it's our people that does that. And that bothers me to the absolute T. And it's something where I feel like how do we even shift that? Because these little things here are so freaking powerful.
Yeah.
At one point where you couldn't even voice your opinion, now everybody has an opinion, and it's just circulating to a point where it's like the the algorithms only show us negativity. The music that they give us is they only want to sign negative artists. I don't know if y'all ever. I refused. I heard this one clip from that Moneybagg Yo and Glorilla song, and I was like, I'm good, because I'm not letting that happen in my life, where stuff like that starts to manifest, right? But to continue to see that and it be such a trend for, if they, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There goes my son.
Yeah.
But for those type of things to continue to happen in our culture is very it hurts a little bit to see this. It's very disturbing. So that's my take on that.
Yeah. I mean, you hit it on the nail. Just as they'll put you on the blacklist, I'm gonna go support a black owned business. And the minute that you make a mistake, they'll go to McDonald's and get their cold fries every day and still keep going to Wendy's. They don't, but the minute a brother or sister or someone makes a mistake, it's like we don't have no grace for each other. You know, just as you want to support them, you be quick to take food out, you know. So I feel you on that, Cole. Let somebody else.
I feel like we don't have patience for one another. And I feel like we have to relax, breathe, and have patience. And what's disappointing to me is seeing all the fighting and name calling on social media or in Walmart or, you know, out in your neighborhood of fighting one another. Violence, the malice, the violence and stuff is embarrassing, but it is hurtful to our culture, because why can't we get along? Why can't we sit down and take accountability and, you know, talk to one another, but like, hey, you can fix this, like change our attitudes and talk to one another and like give each other tips on how we can do better here or how we can approach one another better. And, you know, so we can become a better as a people, like just because I see a lot of different other people, other races and stuff out here and loving on one another, helping one another build companies and stuff. But it's like we're trying to race to see who get there first and stuff. And then we're disrespecting another with the language and stuff. That has to stop. We have to do something better. So it's disappointing to me to see that and to see the youth watching that and the youth learning from that. And they're doing it to one another and they're name calling one another. And I see that a lot. So I just feel like we have to stop disrespecting one another and have a little more patience with each other and teach one another.
Do you think that we are able to take constructive criticism now?
Not all the time.
As a people, we so soulful. See, I realize like the more I get into these like areas where other like they are able to go at it with each other, then go have a beer in the same breath. And it be so appalling to me because you know how we grew up. You say something off the wall to me, it's a wrap. Like, I don't deal with you. But and I gotta get over that because it's a self thing for me. It's like you were just talking so crazy to Brian and he buying your beer. And they are able to accurately sit, argue in respect, call each other out, each other names, whatever it may be. And then it's business. It's not personal. But I think for Afro-Americans, we are so soulful that we wear our stuff on our sleeve. And if you go tell a brother or sister, hey man, I think what you did with that thing, it wasn't that good, man. You gotta put a little more some of that in there. They're gonna say you hating. And you may just be giving them constructive criticism that could turn them from one area into a 10x business. You know what I'm saying? And so we can't share information if we can't take constructive criticism. I know you dying, Bryson. I'm gonna let you go ahead and get it.
Nah, man. Do it, bro. You know, just soaking everything in. You know, it's a real topic. You know what I'm saying? And I hope that this topic, you know, gets out there and that people that are listening, you know, really digest it. But what you said was powerful. You were like, you know, we're so soulful. You know, we've been offended for so long, like we're so easily to be offended. You know, And a lot of that does come from us just being so feely and I'm gonna say this, so churchy. You know what I'm saying? Where, we can't apply principles. You know what
Preaching now. He preaching.
I'm saying? Of like, take care, you know what I'm saying? Take care of your family. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's gonna save you. Yeah, Jesus can save you too, but staying at home, taking care of your responsibilities will save you too. And I think like, we got to get back to a point of just being, just going back to the basics, man, of, because right now, like you said, we are motivated to get out here. And, sometimes you can be so motivated that, you don't really have a clear direction in where you're going. Like, we want money, and that's the end goal, but it's like, it has to be more than that. It has to be more than, it has to be certain principles that we, get back to that can give us those results that we wanting, and not just, allowing ourselves to go based off, how we feel, because that's what's keeping us at odds with one another as a people. And yeah, but yeah, man, like I said, same thing that y'all been saying, man. We just got to get to a point to where, we start to, and it's the scripture's full of, things to help us with that. But one of the things I want to focus on is where it says to put others before yourself. I think that's a powerful principle, because what that does is that eliminates any arrogance or anything that may try to rise, to tear down your brother, or to, help you to support your brother or your sister. Best thing to do is put the other person first. You know what I'm saying? So, but just getting back to those simple principles, man, not just going through the emotions of, pray about it, and, we got to come together and all this other stuff, but like really just locking in on certain principles that, I'm gonna say the other people have stood on for a long time, and they got it. But and I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna stop. But one of the things too, I think that it hinders us is the lack of effective communication. Not really being able to communicate, not being able to, like, we're the type that will react off what we think somebody's feeling without even knowing exactly what they're feeling, because we won't communicate with them to see what's exactly going on. And so, a lot of people get killed that way too, based off of, how they feel about a person without going to that person and actually, having a, heart to heart, or, just being able to communicate. So, but yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you got anything, anybody?
We can still love one another. We can agree to disagree. And then, the mouth has power. Though. Our words are very powerful. And a lot of times I notice our culture, we say, you're dead to me. We so quick to kill people with our words. You're dead to me. Well, let's sit down and figure out how we can fix this. How can we fix this? And we can agree to disagree, but let's fix this. I build you up, you build me up. We got to figure something out.
Or that getting you before you get me. And then even with the hurting feelings, I know, Bryson, you mentioned about putting others before you, but we also can be careful in who we put before us anyway, because some of us still have that people pleasing going on. We don't want to hurt people's feelings. And I keep hearing this walking on eggshells type of thing. And the thing that came to mind the other day was, it may not always be that you're walking on the eggshells that I may quote unquote be putting before you. Maybe it's just your hard shell that's around you falling off for once, and giving you an opportunity to see things from other people's perspectives rather than just your own, because you're not always right. And I think that's another thing that can kind of be a blockage too in our culture, is that we always feel like we got to be right. We gotta be on top. We got to be here or there, whatever. But it's a humbling experience when you know who you're serving with, instead of always feeling like you're working for somebody. Like you all have mentioned, like having that business. That's what a business is. You're working together with somebody, instead of having that micromanaging mentality or whatever it is. Is that we find it hard to work together. And I'm not sure exactly what will pinpoint that as to why, but That's another.
Yeah, I mean, I could talk a mile on that. Because Black people are jealous of Black people,
Mhm.
That's the truth.
right? And that's why we don't share information, because I don't want you to pass me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But sharing information is key to get out of this cave. Because I don't have all the information. Cole don't have all the information. So piece by piece is how we gonna get out.
Mm-hmm.
But if I tell you my piece,
Mm-hmm.
I'm afraid you're going to pass me
Mm-hmm.
and you're gonna do better than me.
Mm-hmm.
So I will not share. But guess what? My next level may be predicated towards sharing with you because I'm gonna learn something in that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And so by not sharing with you, I'm thinking I'm stopping you from growing, but I'm really stopping myself.
I think that's the construction piece too. I don't know how this may tie into what you said earlier about having constructive criticism, because we usually leave the construction part out and we just criticize, tear people down, only to build ourselves up. And I'm not saying me as included in that part, because I'm all about building people up. But when you have that destructive part where you feel like that's all you see is just negative of someone, because that's
Yeah.
what was poured into you. How do we reverse that? How do we release all that negative that was poured into us? Because the same thing that was fed into me, like, oh, you're never gonna be this, you're never gonna be that, and that's gonna be the same energy that I give to somebody else. But how do we?
Well, most people only criticize because they never constructed anything. You can't give me constructive criticism about an area you haven't constructed nothing in.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So that's where we find our mentors and we twist them up. You can't, everybody shouldn't have your ear now. I'm not saying let everybody speak into your life and tell you, now I told Gigi, I done started a business that she's working on right now.
Mm-hmm.
I got something to say when it comes to developmental DD. I've done it for 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I can't tell Cole how to do juicing because I don't know nothing about it.
Right. We drink it,
Right?
but we can't tell you how to.
I'm a consumer of it. Don't mean, well, I think you should put a little more. Listen, you talking about stuff you don't know nothing about. You can't give me constructive criticism on something you have never constructed.
Mm.
So you got to make sure you know what the ear is. What is that person's expertise in that area, right? And then it's not hating. I listen. I had somebody tell me a long time ago, man, you got Nashville chicken and waffles. You should do shrimp and grits. I'm like, man, be quiet, man. Stop talking to me. Now, I'm not being arrogant. He's just saying stuff that sounds good, right? Because he doesn't understand in the health world the separation with poultry and fish and just the allergies and all. It's not going to be just a quick, just add it on. He don't know that. He don't have no clue. He just think it sound good because it's catchy.
Mm-hmm.
So that person I can't take no constructive criticism from. And if I don't take his advice, then he gonna hate. He gonna tell me I didn't know what I'm doing. So what I'm saying is there is a boundary, there is a line, right? Make sure that if a person is going to speak into you, that individual has some constructive areas about that particular subject, but
Mm-hmm.
again, we shouldn't wear out, somebody come to you and say, hey man, that wasn't so, I think you should, hear him out and then use reasoning and okay, boom. But I think we don't know how to share information and I'm seeing it on a different level now, right? Where people are sharing information because they know where they're going.
Mm-hmm.
They're not concerned about you passing them.
Mm-hmm.
They doing numbers. They already there. You trying to, and so it's nothing for them to share with you, So we just, as people, I think we need to get to a place where we can share more and be able to take criticism, constructive criticism.
Can I just tie it all up and then ask this question? I'm gonna just, instead of asking for 3, can y'all give me at least one thing you think our middle-aged generation is interested in, and at least one thing that we are like is the least that we're interested in. Like, what seems to be the trending thing right now, or what seems to be the least trending thing for us right now?
I think it's generational wealth for us.
Wealth
You
is the
know,
one that's trending.
generational wealth, like
Genera-
leaving something for our children's children. I think for the people who've been around, that's really the, you know, like my mama and them didn't want to give $1 million insurances that you could, you know, literally, if something was to happen today, your child will be a millionaire.
Mm.
It's like $11, $13, and it's like, I think, you know, I talked to my mama about about insurance. She think I'm trying to kill
Oh, wow.
her. Yeah. She think I'm
Wow.
trying to, I said, Mama, come on now. You think I'm trying to kill you? No, I'm just saying we need to go ahead and figure out, because when these premorbidities start setting in, it's gonna be 4 times the price. So let's get a policy in place just in case. You got car insurance, right? He said, yeah. You know why it's mandatory for you to have, and I don't want to hijack this thing, but you know why it's mandatory for you to have a car insurance before you pull off the lot, but it's not mandatory for you to have life insurance? Because that is one of the secrets that the rich has been using to pass wealth from generation to generation to the generation. And they're not going to make the look. If you want to get rid of all of the crime in the America, put the insurance company. They are the beast. They are the market of beasts. Listen, if you put insurance on every child in Jason Napier, there won't be no killings. They will make sure that the policing and the resources are there, because they don't want to pay out that wealth the love of money, the root of all evil. They don't want to pay it out. So if we wanted to stop the killings in the hood, put insurance on every young man in Little Rock and see how the crime rate drops.
Hey, that'll be a challenge.
They're not gonna do it. They're not gonna. They don't even want to hear us talk like this. If we put insurance on every single, you know how much it would cost to put an insurance on 11 to 17-year-old boy in Chicago? Pennies. And the insurance companies, they're the most powerful people in America right now, because they hold the most annuities and the most money. So what I'm saying is our generation, I think the question was, what's the one thing? It's wealth, right? We want to pass wealth on to each other, but we could do it through even something as simple as, term life insurance. If you can't afford a whole, get a term. We're young enough. If something was to happen instantly, my daughter is going to be a millionaire. Something was to happen to me today, don't cry for me, Argentina. And these are just simple jewels that they hide from us, and we got to be able to share.
Yeah.
Those are, it's not hidden. You just don't want them. We just want to. We so focused on getting the money and all those things, and making other people look less than us. We know about insurance. We know about other things. We just not out to get them. We just want the car, the clothes, and everything else, the expensive trips and all those things to make everybody else feel like that we're happy when inside we're really not. Because you probably need a little counseling. You probably need to sit down on somebody's couch every single day, and you ain't sit down on nobody's couch. But I'm gonna go out here and just keep throwing money on it, or keep having different relationships, and keep taking trips, and keep drinking, and that's gonna help you. And that's not gonna help you at all. And that's our main focus, like you said, the generational wealth. And it's not to pass it on. We just want to look good. And our least thing is the kids. That's our least thing that a lot of people in the middle are thinking about, are the kids. Everyone does a good talk, a good communication about it. Oh, we'll do this and we'll do that, but they're not really trying. For example, we took the entire football team, and I'm in the HBCU, the only HBCU in Charlotte. Took the team to a church, and the church fed us, and it was on the news and all this stuff, and it made the church look pretty good or whatever. And at the end, the young men left, and I started pushing up the chairs, and there was some, some trash left. And, I asked the pastor and the first lady and some other people there, I said, is this ours or is this one of, you guys? And they said, well, you know how you guys do. You know how your football player. I said, no, I don't. I don't know how my football players do. I know that they're outstanding young men and outstanding gentlemen. So that's what they do. But we just check the box for them. That's all it was. They just wanted us to check a box to say that we helped them. We did this for them. Not that they actually really wanted to do it. And that's been at so many other places, because I went to an HBCU as well. And the least thing that was on everybody's mind was us. They just wanted our money. They just wanted, our tuition. They could care less that this dorm had mold in it, or that, there was people getting robbed on campus and things like that. They didn't care about it. They just cared about, if you're coming back to school, so we gonna need that tuition money. Like we want to look rich.
Yep.
And not necessarily do anything.
Yeah.
So I know you said one, but I feel like it's a tie with Fly said something, and then Frank said generational wealth, but mental health has definitely been it. I feel like it is, if it's not number one, there goes my child. If it's not one, it's definitely two. Because truth being told, at one point, our people didn't look at going to a therapist as a thing that we should be doing. If you do that, you're crazy. I remember, I'm not even going to say a specific, family member or anything like that, but I had some family members that, used to get crazy checks, right? And just hearing those type of things and therapy makes you soft, and you don't need to, you can do this for therapy, all these different things. I speak and say for myself, yeah, I'm glad that happened. I'm very glad that was a thing where people, and I'll be honest, it came from the culture that I love. Like Charlemagne was one of the first. That's who drove me to go to therapy, to be honest with you. I read a book and I was like, oh, like, maybe talking to my homeboy sometimes isn't fair about all of my problems. Maybe talking to my wife about all of my problems sometimes that's not fair to her either. That's not for her to carry all of my, like, yeah, let me go talk to somebody. Right. So yeah, I definitely would say mental health is very up there right now. Whether that be people taking mental health days from work. I don't know if that's real or not. But they're making it's becoming an actual thing. There's no roadblocks to that. Every time I'm listening to a podcast, what am I hearing? Hey, you need somebody to talk to? Go to betterhelp.com. It's all these different, and that is not a ad, sorry. But there's all these different avenues that they've created now for mental health. And so I definitely feel like that's up there with the generational wealth for sure. I think that I gotta say they're a tie. I got to.
But you know what it is for us, and I agree with you. Mental health is, I think for us, it was because of our financial health. Right? Because we knew a therapist was like $90 out. And we ain't got that. Man, we trying to buy eggs. We ain't. And so what we did was, this is what we did in our communities, and we still doing it. And COVID exposed us. This is what we did. We made the pastor our therapist. And on Sunday, we got inspiration with our information. And we went back to the weed and the Percocets so we can cope and make it through another week. Then come back to church.
Yep, absolutely. And just to tie it, and then I'm gonna move out the way. But just to tie it back, the least, because the least amount of thing that we kind of worry on, you said what he just said, it would be the insurance portion. Right? Because now that we got some of the information we got, and now we can go seek therapy and things like that, where it wasn't affordable at one point, guess what? It is now. There's no excuses. They take insurance. You know what I'm saying? but we
But
tend to overlook those things. We still doing, you know what I'm saying? We still got to do GoFundMe's for funerals and stuff. So insurance in our community is hey, I'm not exception to the rule. My mother, we had to get that money together for her. You know what I'm saying? To bury her. So it's very much underlooked. And sometimes if we do get insurance, we're not even doing the reading things that we need to be doing. Hence, it's I could go 1,000 years for this, but I would definitely say some of the benefits that lay out here for us, we just don't take advantage of them. And insurance being one of them that we just continue to overlook because we feel like, oh, I don't need that for the moment.
Yeah.
No, I agree because I remember I told my family that I was going to therapy, and I had a black therapist when I lived in Atlanta, a black lady, and I wanted to make sure that she was black or that I had a black one. And my grandma was like, "Are you crazy?" I was like, "No, I'm not crazy, grandma. I just need to, work through some things and become a better version of myself." And it helped me unlock so many other things and unlock my mind and unlock some hidden trauma that I didn't know I had. I started reaching out to, my father and different people in my life, that I felt like kind of abandoned me. And, I started to, hear their side of the story or hear things that they went through. And I was like, I kind of went through something similar to that. And I started to realize that all these things are tied because there's someone in your family that you look like that you've never met. And you have trauma from that person or hidden things from that situation or whatever. And so it really helped me because I wanted to help my son. I wanted to help my son and my daughter. I wanted them to not have to deal with the same exact things that I deal with because I'm pretty sure, I don't know if my children are older than all of you guys should have, because in my family, every firstborn child had a kid when they were 16. I had my son when I was 16. I had my daughter when I was 19. So, 18, 19. And so my son is a freshman in college. And he was the oldest. And so he was the first person in our family to break the whole curse. He was the first one to graduate top 5 in his class and get a engineering scholarship. He was a mechanical engineer at his college. So that helped me help him so that he wouldn't make the same mistakes that we did. And my daughter is the same way. She is, top 10 in her class right now. And she'll probably graduate a year early just like he did and go to school as well. So you got to realize those things to help us so that we can help the next generation, because just keep putting it off, you're going to put it off to the next person. And it's just going to get put off to the next person until you address those things.
Yeah.
This word. If y'all had anything you could say to encourage someone, whether they're in our generation or younger or older, what would it be? And the time is running down, so I didn't want to have to keep making y'all come back on. But if you could have anything to say to anyone in our generation or your whatever, respectfully, in your generation or age, what would it be?
I'll go first. I would say time is your most valuable because we all gonna run out of that eventually. So I think that despite what we may be chasing after in this life, just having a relationship with God and being rooted in that, will help you when time runs out. And so I think, for a lot of us, that's been on our minds because people are dropping like crazy. And it seems like life is moving at a faster pace. And sometimes it's hard for us to keep a grasp on everything. So the one thing that I would say is, be aware of how you're using your time because you don't get more of that. So, yeah.
I would say you are not your brokenness, and let's break generational curses and unreach your hurt and speak.
It's good.
Yeah, I would say don't be afraid to ask for help. When you need help, ask for help, and also root yourself in God, root yourself in the Bible. Get a relationship with Him for yourself. Not what you go to church. When you go to church on Sunday, you get that feel good quote, you come out motivated, but you don't have no discipline to live for the next 7 days of the week. So get that foundation, get a relationship with Him for yourself.
Yeah, the time is running down. I do apologize. I don't want to have to make y'all keep coming back and forth, but I do appreciate you all. If need be, and we have another repeat of this, if y'all are interested, I will reach out so that we can continue this conversation, because y'all definitely have a lot that needs to be heard. Most definitely. But I do appreciate each and every one of you for joining me tonight. And y'all continue to take care of your families, okay? And continue to build your business and reach out to others and motivate yourselves and others as well. All right.
All right.
Peace.